This is the bag that I'm going to be showing you how to make. This is what the external looks like, and I'm going to show you how to make some straps. And on the inside here we have 2 zippers, and it's a really big open base knitting bag in order to get all of your project work inside. I create videos every single Wednesday. I have over 300 videos on my channel, so please hit subscribe. In the evening, I like to knit, and of course, with knitting, along came a load of accessories that I need to organise. So I am going to make myself a nice knitting project bag. So I have this loom thing, and that keeps my project on. I'm not actually knitting with sticks, I'm knitting with this loom thing, and it's really kind of cool. And I have like accessories that I need to organise, so I'm going to make myself a nice bag. For my knitting bag, I'm going to use this because I want a bit of structure in it, and I want it to have a really nice flat bottom. So I want it to be kind of wide on the bottom so it can actually sit by itself, and I don't want it to be so tall like a regular bag. So I have this Soft and Stable, which is kind of like a foam. It's really nice, and mine was a little bit wrinkled, and I was able to press it really easily. So basically my project bag is going to be 20 inches by 17. So I have 2 pieces of this. So the same is going to go for your fabric sections as well. So they are going to be 20 inches by 17. So they are the measurements. So my external pieces is going to be this one because I love this fabric. And then I'm going to have 2 internal sections of the same measurements, and also another 2 pieces because I'm going to do an inside zip on the lining. I'm going to do a little bit of a cheater's way of doing a inside zip, so stick around and you'll see how I do these zippers. It's really easy. Don't be scared of doing zippers, please. So you're going to have to attach your Soft and Stable to your main piece of fabric. Now you can either baste it with some 505 spray, or you can free motion quilt it. So I'm just going to do my usual meander stipple in to attach these 2 sections because it's one of the easiest free motion quilting techniques you can do. So let's sort out the front section of this knitting bag. I am not paid or sponsored to create this video. I work with a Baby Lock Soprano sewing machine. My sewing machine is pretty much all set up to do free motion quilting right now. I have lowered these feed dogs, I have my open toe foot on, and a Microtex 9014 needle. I don't need to worry about my stitch length or my stitch width because we control the free motion quilting work with the needle going up and down and us moving the fabric about on the machine. We can control the speed. I like to go really fast with my free motion quilting work. You need to find out at what speed you can comfortably do your free motion quilting work. Now go ahead and secure the top section and the bottom section of your work by doing some free motion quilting all around. I'm just going to do some nice big stitches today. Once this is all secured down, you may find that some of your Soft and Stable here needs trimming. So just trim that off, and then the external part of your knitting bag is kind of finished for now. So I have 2 zippers here that are longer than the internal section of the bag. So remember, we have 4 internal sections now. I'm now going to do that little cheetah pocket. So basically I'm going to get both of these. I've got 2 here, and I'm going to get it on the width, so where it's the 17-inch height, sorry. I'm going to get on the 17-inch high part. I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to cut where the 4 inches is here. So I'm going to cut 4 inches from the top of the 17-inch height. So now we have this, and I am going to insert a zipper. So basically I am going to sew face down my zip all the way down. So you're going to need your zipper foot for this part. So you have to raise your feed dogs back up if you did do some free motion quilting work, and change your foot to the zipper foot and sew right down. So your zipper foot is face down and we're attaching it to one of the layers of fabric. We've attached the zipper to that one side. It's a good idea just to give it a nice press, just so it lays a little bit flatter. And we can come in and do a top stitch as well. And of course, we now need to take the 4-inch section that we cut off, and you line it up with the other side here, and you're going to sew this down. So your zipper is now facing up and you're going to sew this into place. So now this section has a zipper. I'm going to give it a quick press. And then what we can do is go back to the sewing machine again and just top stitch this into place. I am going to do exactly the same thing with the other piece, because I'm going to have 2 zipper pockets on both sides of my knitting bag. One of my pockets isn't going to be as deep as the other side, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to fold it over like so. So it's basically folded in half, and make sure that the zipper is facing you. Take one of the lining sections that we haven't touched just yet, and then we're going to place our pocket at the top there, right at the top of the lining section. And then what we're going to do is going to baste all this pocket into place. Basting is just going like quite close to the side here, and we're basically just attaching it into place, so when we come to the next part we haven't got so many things moving about on us. So we're going to stitch this into place, and before we do that you are going to have to open up the zipper. Don't have the zipper at this end. Make sure that before you stitch it you've opened it up. So we have now stitched this to the lining of our knitting bag. So now we can zip this up, and then I'm going to take out these sections here because we don't need that zipper end there, and we're going to take this out here, and we're going to do the same thing. Hello Sophie. We're going to do the same thing to the other section of our knitting bag. And now my cat is sat on my project. The joys of having pussycats. So this time we're going to take our lining section, and we have our zipper section, and we're going to place that face up. And you are going to baste all the way round. I'm going to have a bigger pocket on one side than the other, so just don't forget to open the zipper up and just baste all the way around. Once again, just cut off the excess of the zipper off on both sides. Take your 2 inside lining sections and place them right sides together. So we're just going to get Sophie to help us here. So you have to have your zippers at the top, and these are considered as your right sides. So you're going to put them right sides together. With them sections right sides together, you are going to stitch all the way around the bag. But you're going to keep a gap here about 4 inches at the bottom. and you're not going to cut the top. So you're just going to sew both the sides and the bottom and leaving about 4 inches at the bottom. Make sure that your zippers are pulled open when you did that bit as well. So we have the top bit open, we have the sides all sewed into place, and then we have this bottom section open so we can pull it right sides through later on. We are going to do the same thing to our external sections. Just make sure that everything looks okay and everything's pointed in the right direction, and we're going to put them face together, and we are going to sew all the way around. You don't leave a gap at the bottom of this one, sew it all the way around, leaving in the opening at the top. So on both the bottom sections of the lining and the external of the bag, I am going to box this out 3 inches. So I've taken my ruler out, measured 3 inches across, 3 inches down, and then we're going to take a pair of scissors and we are going to cut that square all the way out. So you're going to do that to both your internal sections and your external section, and it's at the bottom of your bag. What you're going to do on both the external and the internal of your bag is you will open this up like so, and this seam and this seam end up meeting like so, and then you flatten it out. So as you can see, that creates the flat base of the bag, and you're going to sew it across. So you just want to double check on both the inside and the external section that everything is sewn up. I have this whole roll of sparkly fabric that I'm going to make some handles out of, and it measures in as 36 inches in length and it's 12 inches width. So I am going to make these handles 36, and I'm going to cut it right in half, so it's going to be 36 by 6 inches. So I'm not going to be able to press this sparkly fabric, so I am going to fold it in half and use my little wooden wheel here. It will create a crease. Let's go all the way. Once you've created that first crease, you can see where you're going, fold the first bit in and then press. Now if you're just using a regular piece of fabric, you can do this with an iron. I just can't because it's probably gonna melt if I put heat on this. And then you'll fold the other side in to meet that centre and press that down, and then you'll just fold it in on itself and press it back down. Take it over to your sewing machine and stitch down both sides. Now with your inside of your bag facing, like you've got all of this bit exposed here and the external part of the bag is turned inside out. You're going to push your lining inside of the bag, and you're going to make sure that the zipper is facing that lining, that external, so it's right sides together. And then you're going to clip your seams together, and then we're going to place our handles inside the bag. So your handles want to go in between the lining and in between the external section of your bag. Make sure that your handles aren't twisted, and then you're going to stick up a little bit of the raw edge of the handle, clip them into place. I don't have an exact science for where to place your handles. And then just make sure that your handles aren't twisted inside, and then just clip that lining down. I find it best to like tug like all sections, and then it ends up going flush to the bag. And I'm just going to put the clip here, and then when I come to do the handles on the other side of the bag, I will use these as my guidelines. So I'll place them handles in. Just make sure that your handles are not twisted. And then I will place this part of the bag to the other side of the bag to make sure that both the handles are lined up. And then I grab some clips, clip into place. And then do the same thing with the other side. Just make sure the handles aren't twisted, and then just marry them both up like so to make sure they're on the same side, and then just clip this side, and then we'll move on to the next stage. So now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew this bag completely up. Just make sure that you gripped everything. I've just missed gripping. So you're going to sew the lining to the main body of the bag, and don't worry, because we will be flipping this right sides out from this hole at the bottom here. So go around and sew everything into place at the top here. So now what you just want to do is just cut any of the excess material here before we flip things right sides through. Just don't cut into the stitches we just did. Just do a quick manual check that everything is stitched into place, and then you can pull everything right sides through. So you're just going to pull the external part of the bag through that hole at the bottom, and then pull that lining down. And then just make sure, as we are making everything look nice and pretty, that you just push all of these corners out, and do the same thing on the lining of your bag. And then once we've checked that everything is sewn into place, you can now sew this opening shut. Once that is complete, you can push your lining into your bag, and then what you might have to do now, I think you will have to do, you're going to have to top stitch around the top of this bag. The top stitching just helps to keep that lining away from the front of the bag. And this is the inside of the bag with the two zippers. And that is it. That's the bag complete. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.